Hey, it's Andrew Huang. This is a video I've been wanting to do for years but avoiding because it's so much setup. We're gonna be running drums through a bunch of effects. I've done this before, but never to this level. There are just so many creative possibilities and combinations of pedals that can be explored. Of course, you can also do this in your DAW, and I'll share some creative workflows around that later in the video. So we're gonna have some fun. Thank you to Warm Audio for sponsoring this video. I'm using their reamper so I can get my drum mix through the guitar pedals. Actually, I've got two of them so we can do some stereo and parallel shenanigans. If you've ever tried to run a mic or line signal through a guitar pedal, you'll know how bad it sounds, and that's because the level and the impedance don't match. So a box like the reamper gets everything matched up and sounding good. Isn't that right? He can't hear me. So I'm starting with a few pedals that I know are gonna work. I've run drums through these before. 4 Chase Bliss pedals that can really mangle things, and then Meris Hydra. This is a 3-layer pitch shifter. One of my favorite things on drums. It's just really surprising. And then 2 things I haven't used on drums before, but I'm sure will get wild. The Eventide H90, which has tons of different effects in it, and the Game Changer Auto Chorus, the nuttiest chorus pedal ever. Let's go. I'll just go in order, I guess. Mood. We're in slip mode. It's doing this cool reversing thing. And by the way, I will be dropping a sample pack, link in the description. I'm clicking on clean, which is like a weird compressor. Oh, hello, crotch. Actually kind of fun though. Let's add gen loss. Also, mood is off now. I think we've had enough of that reversing stuff. Also, by the way, I'm not a drummer. I'm just some random guy who likes to make sounds. Turn that one down. Mix in more dry. I don't know, let's see how it sounds. You like it down there, admit it. It's hard to hear exactly what's going on in my headphones. This might be kind of a funny thing to say given everything going on, but I think I might have been clipping. All right, let's do lossy. Wow. Get these laser beamy things. See, this is what I'm talking about. What's it like with the whole kit? One of the things with using pedals is it encourages you to play things by hand. Like, you have to twist these knobs. You're not gonna not twist the knobs, and so that's just a little different than when you're working in the DAW and you can automate things, you can record things, resample them, but the default is to kind of just put static effects on. So do this in the DAW. It's much more affordable, but like map controllers, move stuff around. H90. Yeah, he's gotta come off. So many presets in this thing. Wow, let's move on. So the auto chorus lets you route your input signal's pitch and volume to control the parameters. Let's try some stuff out with that. This pedal really likes my rack tom. Okay, done with these pedals, now on to parallel. I've got effects set up on two different chains here, like they won't affect each other, but you'll hear them at the same time. And I think it'll also be interesting if I route different drum mics to go through each of the chains. Coming over here to the mixer, if I hard pan things, they'll only show up in one channel or the other. What if the room mic and overheads go to one and everything else goes to the other? Ah! Remember what I said about setting up at the beginning of the video? Okay, one side of the 360 cam is getting the pedal, the other is getting a whole lot of knee. The fun thing with Ghost is modulating stuff, so... Totally forgot right now I'm supposed to be doing parallel. I'm just playing with one pedal. Let's try getting some other stuff on there on both chains. Rainbow machine here going nuts with the feedback. Okay, but the envelope follower, whatever's going on with macrodose into the distortion. And Rainbow Machine's still making rainbows in the background. I think I gotta just move on because the possibilities with parallel are even more exponential. Now we're gonna do a segment I'm really excited about, which is trying out every synth pedal that I have. So like tracking your guitar's pitch and turning it into a synthesizer. What is gonna happen when we do that with drums? First up, Beatronic Swarm. Okay, Electro Harmonics bass monosynth. So it seems like it tries to grab anything that it can as a pitch, but once it finds that, it like holds that as a note. And this thing has so many modes to try. So that was the one for bass. Now we're gonna hear the one that's for guitar. I mean, it's gonna be weird. Banana Chimera. Really glad I tried this. I'm not getting results. All right, life got a little crazy, but we're back and we're talking about some considerations if you're gonna take this kind of approach in a DAW. The main thing with this is just put weird effects on your drums. Put things that you normally wouldn't reach for when you're doing drums. But there are a number of pros and cons when you're doing drums through weird effects in the DAW versus outside. The pros are great. It's much easier to try effects. You can just drag and drop stuff. There's no cables. You can change the order easily. You can also put on way more effects. You're only limited by your CPU. You don't have to spend money for every single effect you want to put on. And it's also easier to set up different effects on individual drum mics. Here's just one example where I found the Eventide dual harmonizer gave a really interesting vibe when I put it on my snare track. It's just got some extra sauce. It's kind of vintage feeling, but compare that to if the effect is on the whole kit. It's just too thinned out, maybe suitable for a section where I want it to be more lo-fi, but probably not a whole song. And this is just one effect on one track. There are so many different combinations of different effects that you could put on different combinations of different drum mics, not needing multiple hardware chains, each with their own reamp path. You can go wild. But there are also some cons, because when you're in software, every single knob that you want to manipulate by hand, you have to map to a controller. We all know the mouse just doesn't feel as good. You can't do more than one thing at a time on the screen. You lose some of that live playful element if you're not working with physical knobs. The second con is that you lose the spontaneity of playing the drums in response to what the effects are doing. I suppose you could route your live drums through effects in your DAW and then monitor that, but you'd be dealing with significantly more latency than just going straight to hardware. But let's talk about a hybrid setup that's pretty fun. If I'm working with drums I've already recorded in my DAW, I can route them out through my interface, through the reamper, through some pedals, and record them back in. And if I'm not playing the drums, I'm free to play the effects. Okay, glitchy's my default. Cause come on. But also these two are doing a lot for just tone and vibe, like distortion, compression. What's the lo-fi side of this feel like? And that's one of the other things about pedals too, is you'll just do the most extreme settings, you'll try stuff out really quickly, and you're not thinking about the values of parameters and like how things look like on the screen. It's just an if it sounds good, it is good situation. Come on. Alright, they're not all winners. We've discovered why no one puts drums through a wah pedal. It's kind of fun to have the reverb like extend the frequencies that are getting picked out and make them kind of water droplet-y. Too much fun. And of course, instead of the DAW, you could have somebody playing the drums live and somebody else playing the pedals live, but that requires a whole additional human being. And I feel like we would agree the quality control with them is a bit hit or miss. Sample pack linked in the description. Thanks for watching.